about cutting off in the middle of that video today, but as you could hear, my son was crying. So to continue the recap of fertility session, the Yes You Can Get Pregnant group fertility coaching session 1, I ended the last video, I was talking about recognizing how your body works all on its own on a daily basis, and to start to pay attention to the fact that your body does work, and in addition to it knowing how to have a bowel movement every day or how to breathe, it also innately knows how to get pregnant and how to stay pregnant. And so I understand that we're struggling with the getting pregnant and staying pregnant part, but to realize that your body does know how to do it. So our job is to really just remind it and to start celebrating the little ways that your body shows you it is getting healthier. So that could be simple things like, oh, like I was saying in the last video, that when I eat gluten it constipates me. So that start celebrating, oh, I've made these dietary changes and my digestion is better. Or, for me too, my eczema will flare up if I don't eat right. So, or manage my stress. So for me, it's I use it as my red flag. Okay, my eczema is acting up, so I better check what's going on in my diet and my lifestyle and my emotional space so that I can get my eczema to calm down. And for me, if my eczema were flared up, I know that that also means that something else on the inside isn't working well, right? So it could be affecting my digestive system. So you want to look for ways that you can measure the improvement of your health and then celebrate those. And it can just be like, my sleep is better, my skin looks healthier, I have less breakouts around my cycle. Like I said, I see healthier cervical mucus, my period is easier to deal with, all of these things to start celebrating that. And then that, you take that confidence that you start to build in your body, and you start tuning in again to that inner dialogue that you're having with yourself. And so when the negative thoughts or beliefs come up, such as, the I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not healthy enough thoughts come up, you can combat it with these truthful statements like, but my skin does look better, or, I just sent out the homework email, and in the homework email I told you to do your uterine mantra every day. And so you could say, well, I do my mantra every day, so I know, even though I can't feel it or taste it or see it, I do know my fertility is improving because I'm sending love to my uterus. And just start just believing that and start engaging in that conversation, and not so much in the negative, I'm not doing it right, I'm not enough conversation. And I said this in the call last night, but it's worth repeating, or I'm sorry, on Wednesday night, it's worth repeating. My goal is for you to be in that more positive, optimistic, hopeful space, even just 55 or 60% of the time. I'm not saying that you have to be there 100% of the time for this to all work. So hope that frees you up a little bit. This isn't, and doesn't have to be 100% type of thing. Even if you just shift 55 to 60% of that inner dialogue to a more positive, hopeful one, it will shift your health. I mean, listen, if we can get to 70, 80%, that's awesome, and we'll shift your health even more. But your cells in your body, which make up everything, including your uterus, your ovaries, your, the eggs inside your ovaries, the sperm inside your partner's body, those cells respond to hope and positivity and optimism, just the same as they respond to negativity and pessimism. Something to remember is that toxic emotions are just as bad for your health as toxic food or toxic exposures to chemicals, toxic bath and beauty products. So this emotional component, I can't stress it enough how important it is. So again, let's start tuning into that inner dialogue and having healthier conversations with ourselves, or at least challenging the negative conversations that come up. And you can tell if you're having a thought that doesn't feel good, because you'll typically feel it like in your heart center, or you'll feel it in your throat, or it'll give you that pit in your stomach, that worry. That's a sign that you're just not on the right track, that you're actually almost thinking against the grain of your innate, thinking process. Like, your body wants to feel good. You want to have good feeling thoughts. You want to be more love than fear. And so when you have these these thoughts that are doubtful or anxiety ridden or tons of worry surrounds them, it's a sign that you're offbeat. And so to just start to tune into that, like, how offbeat am I, and how onbeat, if you will, can I be? And to just really begin to challenge that conversation that goes on inside your head. And I also said in the homework, it doesn't have to necessarily be a fertility conversation. You might not have a fertility conversation that's negative, but you might have a money conversation that's negative, or a relationship conversation that's negative, or a body image conversation that's negative, or a health conversation that's negative. And that can all affect the overall health and wellness of your body and your ability to conceive. So to just tune into those conversations, really, and start shifting them into one of belief, faith, optimism, hope, courage, confidence, all of those beautiful emotions. And on that note, I went into on the call the discussion about Chinese medicine, which is the medicine I practice. Acupuncture is just one facet of Chinese medicine. We also do Chinese herbs, and there's lifestyle and diet recommendations that are a part of Chinese medicine. All of this I use in the clinic, and if anybody's worked with me one-on-one, I've used that with you as well, and we're doing that in this 4-part series. But to us in Chinese medicine, there's always an emotional component to every disease. Always. Whether it came first or it came on second, it doesn't really matter. But you have to get in tune with that emotional component and shift it in order for that disease state to really shift. And a disease can be something like fertility challenges, to a headache, to high blood pressure, to cancer. It's any state of dis-ease in the body, meaning like discomfort, dysfunction, things aren't working as smoothly as they should. So we want to honor that emotional connection, and especially when it comes to fertility, there's a connection between the heart and the uterus. We actually say there's a vessel that runs between the heart and the uterus, and so they're always in direct communication. And when there's a lot of joy and love and passion in the heart, that actually goes down and fills up the uterus with that same feeling, joy, love, passion, excitement. However, when there's worry or sorrow or trauma that's affected the heart, often what happens is the heart kind of closes up and it severs that communication with the uterus. And so we need to work through that trauma. I see it a lot with women who've had miscarriages or unsuccessful IVFs or assisted reproductive techniques, that they just start to kind of shut down emotionally. They almost can't go to that space and talk about it, talk about what's going on. And that to me is my goal. I need to open that up. I need that heart and that uterus communicating again, and I need more joy and love and passion in your life. And it doesn't have to be surrounding fertility. You might not be able to get there in the conversation of getting pregnant, but you could maybe get there and say, like, oh, I started, taking salsa lessons again, and it's so much fun. Or just remembering something that you've done in your past that brought you so much joy, and to get back to that. Or focusing on things in your life that bring you a lot of joy. I know some of you already have children, so to focus on that, the child that is there, to focus on your relationship, to focus on your work if that brings you joy. Whatever it is, to start shifting your focus to less fear, sorrow, worry, more joy, passion, confidence. We say in Chinese medicine, where is it? Sorry. Where are my notes? Excuse me. Oh, that joy and gratitude are the antidotes to sorrow. Acceptance and peace are the antidotes to anger. Confidence and courage are the antidotes to fear. So if you can identify in yourself, maybe do you feel more sorrow? Then we need to find more joy and gratitude in your life. Do you feel more anger? Then we need to find more acceptance and peace in your life. And it could be as simple as going back to a time that frustrated you, and then you realized you got to a place of acceptance over it, and then how it kind of seemed to soften, right? You surrendered to it a bit. So to understand that, like, oh, okay, in order for me to let go of the anger, I actually have to find a way to soften, to accept, to surrender to this process. And then if there's, say, a lot of fear, then we need to develop more confidence and courage in our life. So remind yourself of the things that you do every day that are courageous, or the things in your life that you are confident about, and focus on those, and ignore, if you will, a little bit the things that bring you the fear. Rather just focus on the things that bring you the confidence and the courage. So again, this doesn't have to be all a conversation about fertility and how we perceive it. It can be about many things in our life. And so we can choose things in our life that bring us a ton of joy right now, and just focus more on those to get more of that joy, to open up that heart more. Does that make sense? I hope so. And it might be useful for you right now to actually write some of those things down. You know, what brings me joy in my life? What brings me passion? What lights me up? What am I confident about? Like, what am I so sure of? Like, I'm so good at X. I know I am. Like, I've got it. You know, whether it's, maybe it's work, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's, you know, eating healthy and cooking healthy. Whatever it is, just start to celebrate those things and focus more on those than the things that worry you or bring you angst or bring you sadness. And again, it's that 55, 45, percentage of time. That ratio is very important. So 60% of the time or 55% of the time we're focused on the positive emotions, right? And we're trying to kind of put out the negative emotions with the positive ones. If you could picture, like, positive emotions are, white, light, and the negative emotions are a little bit of fire, and you're just pouring that white light onto the fire, and it's kind of putting the fire out. And you can do that, and just continue to practice that. And I gave you some examples of how to do so in your homework as well. There's a lot of examples in the book, and yes, you can get pregnant. Particularly in that chapter that's around like 113, page 113 or so. I think it's chapter 8. I should know, right? Okay, so then we just got into, just what I talked about. Write down things that bring you joy and passion in your life. And also I think it's important on this fertility journey to start accepting that you are worthy. And maybe we're not right now, but at some point in your life you're going to understand it more. So to just surrender to it somewhat and stop fighting against it. That fight against it is really what causes us to get really gummed up on the inside. And so we want things to go smoothly on the inside. And that's another thing in Chinese medicine. We see how emotions can really block us up. And so, like I was saying, it blocks that communication between the heart and the uterus, but it also can block blood flow. It can block ovulation. It can block the sperm from getting up the fallopian tubes. There's actual physical blocks that can happen from emotional traumas or turmoil. So that's why I can't stress to you enough the importance of this emotional work. And that's why I'm going to focus almost 2 whole sessions on it. The next one will be on nutrition, and the third one will be on lifestyle, but then the fourth one is going to be bringing it all together. And I'm hoping at that point that we've been practicing this work for 4 weeks, so it's really, we've tuned into it so we can discuss it more in that fourth session. Okay. And then I talked a little bit about the worthiness, and I mean, I already have addressed it, but again, to start to think about, again, not just fertility, but any aspect in your life where you do feel worthy of achieving something or don't feel worthy of it. Do you feel like you deserve what you want? And if you don't, why? What is it that's holding you back? Do you think you're going to screw it up? Do you think you're not good enough to do it? Do you think your partner might screw it up? Whatever. I want you to just get in and get honest with yourself and start to really think about this. Am I holding myself back because I don't think I'm going to be good at it? Because I don't think I'm worthy? So am I really ready for this change in my life? Is my partner who I want to do it with, right? Am I trying to conceive to fulfill a void? I see that a lot, unfortunately, that women don't have happiness in their life and they want a baby to come in to make them happy. I much prefer it to be the other way around. I want you to be happy and then have the baby. I really want that. You know, I said this in the session. I said this on the last video. I'm gonna say it again. I don't see my job as helping you get pregnant. My job is to help you get the healthiest you can be, mentally, emotionally, physically, nutritionally, so that you can get pregnant with a healthy child, carry a healthy pregnancy, and then bring that child into a healthy home. And by that I mean mentally, emotionally healthy, as well as physically and nutritionally healthy. So get happy and then have the baby. Get happy and then feel more worthy of, you know, all of these things that you desire. Get happy first. Find that joy. You deserve that. And maybe it's not scientifically proven, but it is my firm belief that the happier you are in your pregnancy, the healthier and happier that baby's going to be. And don't we want to make the world a better place, right? With happier, healthier children. Because that's my goal. Okay, so wrapping it up. So beliefs are just thoughts. So remember, this whole thing is about, you know, I'm talking about the self-talk. Is really the root of it is what I call your belief system. So if you believe that you are unworthy, or you believe that you haven't treated your body right for so long, or you believe that you're too old, or you believe that you waited too long, then those are negative beliefs that are not serving you. So how to start to challenge that belief system, you know. So the first way to challenge that belief system is to tune in to the conversation you're having. What is it you're actually saying to yourself? And beliefs are thoughts you keep thinking. That's all they are. So you can change those thoughts, and then you can form new beliefs. And that's some of the exercises I give you in the homework, and it's definitely in the book as well. But to start tuning into that dialogue, hearing what you're saying to yourself, then taking that statement, writing it down, and then challenging it. No, I do this, this, and this every day, and this is helping me be healthier. This is helping me be happier. This is helping me get to where I want to get. You know, I look in the mirror and I'm proud of who I see, you know, at least 40% of the time, you know, and hopefully we can get that to 60% of the time, right? So hope this is starting to make sense that, you know, the beliefs form your life, and so you can, and the beliefs are based on your thoughts, so you can shift those thoughts, and then you shift your beliefs, and then you will shift your life. Okay, so let's see what else. So I gave you homework in the email. I want you to do that uterine mantra, even if you think it's not useful. It really, really, really is. I want you to really start to get back in touch with your body and in touch with your uterus. I see that a lot too with women who have been struggling to conceive. They almost see their reproductive system as something separate from them, and it's not. It's a huge part of you, and you need to connect with it in order to succeed at getting pregnant. So, okay. So if you have any questions, you can email me, Aimee@AimeeRaupp.com. You can also leave comments below. I'm going to keep these videos private just for the group right now. I probably will open this one up because no one is on it, but I will get down my technological challenges. I will overcome them by and we will actually record the session. But again, it will only be your voices and my face. So it's basically my talking, my face, and your voices, so your questions that come in. And if you want to write questions in on the side, I will read the question out loud first and then answer it so that it's caught on the video. So again, your identity is maintained and kept private, and I want to honor that. So thank you for being a part of this, and I hope this video was helpful, and I look forward to next week. Okay, ladies, have a wonderful day.